All right. You can move that mic however is more comfortable for you.
Right on.
So this is the 16th episode of the Psychic Wave podcast.
Nice.
I think. Yeah, I think. And I'm with Julio, which is you.
Yeah.
And, oh, there's that radio sip.
Yeah, they always start off with that, right?
Yeah.
I gotta get mine in.
So, we met because you started going to Tramp, which is basically my dad's backyard.
Yeah.
And they do, I guess the big term would just be gymnastics, right? Because there's like a bunch of stuff they do. Or what do they do? What would you call it?
It's just like messing around, really. It doesn't, I don't think it really has like a term. Acrobatics, maybe?
Well, I think the centerpiece is the tramp wall.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like a trampoline, Olympic trampoline with a wall right next to it.
Yeah.
And you guys do like flips and shit.
Yeah.
And you guys always try to get me to go on, and that's not my thing. I'd flail around too much.
I mean, it's totally cool. I understand some people just don't, they're not comfortable in that. It's like, I personally don't like partying. So if it's like a social environment where I have some friends that I'm comfortable with, then yeah. But like, if it's just a random party, then it's like, I'm not really interested.
Do you go to many random parties?
No.
So what? But you must have gone to a few to where you're like, fuck this.
Yeah, definitely. I've gone to a few, and I'm like, I feel completely out of place right now. So
where like were these parties?
I think clubbing, like
clubbing, yeah.
like
I've never gone clubbing. I used to go to raves, but clubs are like different, Yeah. I mean, clubbing's like more usually hip hop and stuff too.
I'm not against the hip hop scene.
Oh no, I was just saying that like raves were more just dance music and stuff.
Yeah, but I also went to a rave and I was like, nah, that's not my thing, dude.
Yeah.
Because I'm not like, I've never done like I've never, rolled. Yeah. I've never done anything fucking crazy. So I feel like if you go to a rave, then you have to like do something to really enjoy it.
It makes it better, but
right.
Yeah, the clubbing thing though, I don't know. I don't like not being able to talk to my friends, and I don't like going out with the intention of picking somebody up.
Oh, yeah.
I know it weirds me out.
Yeah.
It's like, because I feel like people have the goal, and then at the end of the night, like when the night's winding down, they're like, all right, well, I gotta get something. And so they start being super desperate. Like, I don't know. It's just funny to me. It's a bunch of people, when I look at it from the outside, it just looks like a bunch of people trying to fuck.
That's really what it is.
Like an animal ritual. Like they're like, let's mate, bitch.
It's the hunting grounds.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, you're going in there with the expectation of getting something out of it.
So your close friends, do they like that kind of stuff?
Some of them, but I mean, well, now that I think about it, not really, because those friends, I don't really spend time with their activities because of that stuff. I think it comes down to like doing something. Like even if I go to a bar,
yeah,
that bar better have like some fucking pool tables or like a dartboard.
I like that stuff. Yeah, sure.
I'm not just gonna sit there and like
drink and look at people.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's boring.
Plus, it's expensive. Like you might as well.
It can be, yeah, for sure.
Do something.
Have you ever been to Stubricks?
No, what is that?
Stubricks is in Fullerton right here. It's by this place, the Continental, that I go to, and it's a bar, but you go upstairs and they have pool tables, and it's like from 10 to 2 a.m. It's free or something, like to play pool, and there's like 4 of them. People just go up there and play pool. It's nice. It's like kind of, it's not fancy, but it's not a dive bar.
Sounds pretty cool though.
But yeah, so you don't like parties, but you like the social aspect of things. So you go over to Tramp and do acrobatics, gymnastics,
some flips, dude.
Some flips. But you were going to stuff like Tempest. Have you been to Tempest?
I've been there like 2 times. It's just really far. I mean, I went to the original one. It's like an hour and a half drive from here.
Oh, wow.
But now they have one that's closer, and I have not yet been to that one. But yeah, I mean, definitely started going to like open gyms. And
Yeah.
I mean, I was doing gymnastics pretty late, you know, and late is like 14, 15, because kids start when they're like 3 or 4 years old, and they groom them to be like these acrobatic monsters.
So did you compete?
No, I never competed. Definitely was way past that cutoff. But
I know, I feel like every hobby that I've ever gotten into, I've been like, fuck, there's like a 6-year-old kid that's way better than me.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
So what made you get into gymnastics?
I had a couple of friends that we used to hang out with. Like before all that gymnastics stuff was like skateboarding.
Yeah.
And I wanted to learn how to do a backflip like so bad.
Oh, okay.
Like it was just that. I was like, if I could just do a backflip, I'd be happy. I'd be so happy, and that's it, you know?
That's funny because that's like exactly what my dad, that's the reason why I got into it. He was like, I've always wanted to do backflip. And now he's doing junk tramp.
But like once you get it, like once I learned how to do it, it's like there's so much more you can do with it.
Yeah, variations and shit.
Yeah. Like twisting and other kinds of flips. So it's like it just kind of grew from there.
I feel like it's the same thing as like skateboarding because like once you learned how to ollie, you like put a lot of time into it, and then you learn how to ollie, and you're like, oh, now let me see if I can ollie this far or this high. Oh, now I can do a kickflip. I can do a kickflip and a spin. It's like, so it just never ends, and you've invested so much time in it, so that I don't know, you just keep going.
Exactly. Yeah. So I think that's what it was for me. It was
Where were you when you were 14 doing this?
in the grass in like his front yard.
No, I mean what area? Like what city?
Oh, Buena Park. I've been like in Buena Park my whole life.
That's where you came from right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So eventually we'll get out of here. But
I know I was born in Fullerton, and I'm in Fullerton
still
right
in
now.
Fullerton. Yeah.
I'm looking for a new place though, and I think I'm gonna do Long Beach.
Long Beach is nice.
Into it. Yeah, there's like a place. There was a place right on the water that was like right in my range. Well, it wasn't on the water, but literally like, and I mean if you counted it out, like on foot, it would take 2 minutes to get to the sand. And I don't know, I just liked it, and I liked the area. But they were asking for like first, last, and then like a deposit that was like just as much as first and last. So I was like, maybe later.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's hard to venture out. It's weird. Like I've had friends that moved to like New York and stuff, and I'm like,
It's like the most expensive place to live in the U.S.
I know. What's the joke? Like you pay $2,000 to live in a shoebox or something?
Yeah. It's ridiculous. Dude.
Most people, they like room with other people though. So you can get like a 2 or 3 bedroom, and I guess you'd be like paying to have your own place for even if you were splitting the rent, but I don't know.
It's just crazy. Super crazy.
I don't know what my friend's doing out there. She wanted to, I mean, she always did like musicals and stuff, so I don't know if that's why she went out there to pursue that, or if that's just like people that do musicals and stuff love New York because that stuff happens there. I don't know.
It's the Broadway thing.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. It's like how people move to LA to be actors, but they all end up being waiters and waitresses, servers. Politically correct.
Yes.
No, but yeah, so they end up being servers, which isn't bad. Like you got to make money, but it's like
it's a grind, man.
It's hard. Like if being an actor was easy, everybody would be famous.
Yeah. It also wouldn't pay that well.
No.
Which honestly, I think the whole film industry could use a little more variety.
Yeah.
Like I get it, like that's a career, but when you have like couple of years of new movies that are like blockbuster movies that actually are in the theater, and it's the same actors, it's like, come on, man. Gotta change it up a little bit or do something different, something new.
You watch a lot of movies like in the theater?
Not really in the theater. I tend to pick them up on Blu-ray or something. I like to watch the behind the scenes. Yeah,
I can't remember the last time I went to the theater to see a movie. But it's because it's all the same. It's a superhero movie which, guess what? The good guy wins. Like, so I'm never, like, when they have an intense battle scene, and everybody's like, I'm like, guys, he's gonna win. Like, there's no stress here. We all know he's gonna win.
Exactly.
But, so it's just all predictable to me, and I'm like a stuck-up asshole, so I don't like going to see movies in the theaters, but yeah, I got like Netflix and HBO, and so I watch them when they come out on there. But the behind-the-scenes shit, I mean, I like that shit too, but I'm assuming you like it a lot because you are behind the scenes sometimes.
Yeah, a little bit more in the scene as of late.
Oh yeah, I've seen you were doing, like, you got kicked.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
We do some stunts and we do a little bit of
So you made, what do they call that thing that like pulls you back?
a jerk vest.
Does that hurt?
Well, the thing is, for that clip, is like, you can overlay it if you want.
Yeah.
Like, when they do it in Hollywood, you know, they have these expensive vests that you wear, and it's like, it's really not that bad.
Mm-hmm.
But
because it's distributed.
Yeah.
The pull is distributed.
Exactly. It's like
better.
you got the whole surface area of the vest on your body, whereas like we just found a span set and we're like, we'll just fucking use this.
Yeah.
And then
wait, what's a span set?
So it's like it's kind of like a rope, but it's got some stretch to it. I could be completely wrong. I mean, I don't know.
Well, I'm picturing it, a rope with some stretch.
I mean, Google knows, you know. But, basically, it's like a strap, and it's got a little bit of stretch to it, but then it tightens over time.
Oh, okay.
It's like a type of tie down. But anyway,
okay.
We found that, and we just made like a simple loop in it, and I stood in it, put it around my waist, and then.
Oh shit!
Yeah,
that's no good.
But it wasn't long enough. So what we did was we took like the hook end of a ratchet strap and just tied that on there to get a little more length, so I could get out of the scene because I had to paint it out afterwards, like do some VFX.
Yeah.
And we just had two guys yank me as I jumped and crashed onto a table.
It looked cool, but I could tell when I was watching it, I was like, that probably hurt.
That's why there's pads. Like, I mean, it's still not comfortable, but like,
yeah,
it wasn't that big.
Well, I mean, the pull part to me, like, especially imagine if you're like breathing out, like right when they pull you or something, you're all, I don't know, just imagine it being painful.
That itself, I think the whole thing really wasn't, maybe because of adrenaline was high, but also, man, I can't imagine, like, when they do like the legit ones, they have like a winch and they just yank you on a winch, like at a super high speed, like crazy torque. But
it must be kind of fun, but yeah, it could be pretty intense.
I mean, I enjoy it.
You know a few people that have done like stuff for big movies, right? Or you've met a few people, because I know
a couple of people.
JR knows somebody that did like the Spider-Man movies. He's come to Junk Tramp a few times.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I haven't met the guy, but yeah, it's crazy.
Actually,
stuntman.
I know a couple of stunt guys. Just because of like the people that are around here. We're not far from LA, but like the stuff that I'm doing with like my group of friends that make short films, like even one of the guys' names is Andy Lee, and he recently did a commercial with Jackie Chan, which is like
it might be that guy,
the fucking legend.
Yeah.
You know,
but I think that might be the guy I'm talking about.
Could be, because I don't know if he did Spider-Man, but
I think his name was Andrew. The guy.
Andrew, I know who you're talking about. He does a lot of skateboarding stuff too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Different guy, though?
Different guy, but I know who you're talking about.
He did the Jackie Chan thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, what's up with Jackie Chan? He's coming back.
Yeah, he did the Foreigner recently.
The Foreigner. Is that a movie?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, I hadn't seen him for a while, and then he was like all on my Instagram Explore page.
Dude, he's a legend, man. He's a legend in our time.
Did you ever watch the cartoon?
Oh yeah, the Jackie Chan Adventures. Dude.
I fucking love that.
It's not even his voice.
It isn't?
No.
Oh man, it's just making money.
It's literally like just his cartoon image, and that was it. You know.
Yeah, I don't even remember anything about it except for like the intro a little bit, and that.
Yeah, those magical tokens and shit.
Yeah, I don't know. I liked it, but
it was cool. It was a cool show.
That was a weird time for cartoons. It was like half of it was really good and the other half was starting to get all shitty.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Courage, though.
Courage the Cowardly Dog?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
That was like the last of like kind of the creepy shit that kids were still able to watch during that time.
All Real Monsters.
Yeah.
Rocko's Modern Life, which I fucking loved.
Ren and Stimpy.
Ren and Stimpy, which confused the shit out of me, but I liked it. I was like, why is this so fun to watch? Yeah, it was like that, and even like Powerpuff Girls, they had like transvestites, like butts all the time. Yeah, him. I loved that stuff. It was like, I don't know, watch it now and you're like, how the fuck did I get that was so sexual?
Yeah. I mean, I don't remember thinking of it like that at all. I just remember it being like,
yeah,
I think this is hilarious.
Yeah.
It's probably why I have like a fucking disgusting sense of humor.
Yeah. I don't know. I like all the creepy stuff. I like macabre and weird. I like weird.
Oh yeah. Like even films too, like darker films.
What's a good dark film?
You ever watched Nightcrawler?
Yeah.
Dude, I love that film. Kind of like the creepy, darker tone stuff, a little more violent.
You know, I really liked that movie, but what they did to me, whoever made the previews, kind of did like what happened with Drive, I think, where like my friends didn't like Drive. Yeah. Like my high school friends, they didn't like it. And I fucking loved it.
Yeah.
I thought it was amazing.
I thought it was a great movie, yeah.
But they told me that the previews made it seem like Fast and the Furious, and then I watched it back and it kind of did. The previews made Drive look like that. And,
nice.
Yeah. And, so I get why they didn't like it. They felt like misled.
Yeah.
But then when I watched previews for Nightcrawler, I thought it was going to be more like Drive. So I liked Nightcrawler, but it took me like watching it 2 times for me to like get Drive out of my head. And then I fucking loved it.
Yeah.
But it's super creepy. And the guy's such
really
like a...
fucked up. He's like a...
Just keeps going.
Yeah.
Just keeps going.
He's like brute force. I'm going to get what I want.
Yeah. I don't know. That's a psychopath, right?
Totally, yeah.
Or what's the difference between like a psychopath and a sociopath?
You're like one step away. If you're a sociopath, you're like one step away from being a psychopath.
Oh, okay. Psychopath's already been a like registered sociopath. They like have done shit. No, I don't know.
There's probably some like very specific details of what makes one different from the other, but you're pretty close if you're a sociopath.
There's like, I know the main thing is like no empathy.
Yeah.
Where you just your actions are just whatever. Yeah, it's like a video game.
Yeah.
Play Grand Theft Auto. You're like, bah!
Yeah.
I just killed that old lady. Whatever.
Who cares?
Yeah.
There's 20 more.
She had money. I needed it. I don't get it. Yeah. Yeah. I love the dark stuff. I know it's not like one of the coolest or most groundbreaking dark movies, but I think I was 14 when The Dark Knight came out. And I'm being honest, I saw it in the theater 12 times. I took people to see it the whole time. I was like, you gotta go see it.
Yeah, that's like $100, man.
I had...
Well, I guess you're not paying for it, so it's
no,
all good.
at the time. It was like spread out. Well, how long are movies in the theaters usually?
Depends, but like a feature film is at least like an hour and 20 minutes, I think.
No, I mean, yeah, but like how long are they in a theater?
Oh, depends. If they're really good and they're like making money, they'll extend their time there.
It was probably like 3 months, probably, for The Dark Knight.
Yeah, and then they send them to the cheap theaters.
Yeah, but I took at least 6 people who had said that they hadn't seen it. I was like, we gotta go right now. Like, stop what you're doing. And it was getting annoying because I was 14 to where I'd be like mouthing like the stuff, and
all the
I was being a dick. Like, I wouldn't let anybody enjoy it.
But you're enjoying it.
Yeah, I loved it.
Yeah. No, actually, I was gonna say the new one, because you watch like Marvel films, and it's like, yeah, they're pretty cool. Like the Spider-Man film is super cool, but they're kind of campy. It's like definitely like geared towards the kids. But like the new Batman versus Superman movie, it's like Batman kills. Like he's never killed. Like. But like he's older and he's over it, Yeah, he totally kills a couple of dudes in that movie. He's been Batman.
That's the one with Wonder Woman at the end, right?
Yeah.
How did I not think about that?
But yeah, like his no-kill policy is like out the fucking window, man.
Well, segue. I gotta kill this section because we're right at 20 minutes.
Nice.
But
well, we did like 20 tangents, so
we did. Well, that's why I like doing this. But we'll pick some of that up. I had no idea Batman killed. What a dick.
Oh,
that's unlike his character. All right, we're back. So the $1 million question: did Batman do statutory rape to Batgirl? No, I'm just kidding. I mean, yeah, it's always like it was always implied, right, that like Batman just got it on with everybody. I don't think it was implied like in a negative way like that, but you always like. Well, that's a bad thing. They always make every fucking girl in every comic ever super hot.
Yeah.
So like you see Batgirl and you're like, he could get it.
Well,
Like,
I mean, if you think about it, they're not gonna make like an ugly ass superhero because nobody wants to dress up like them for Halloween or whatever. You know, nobody's gonna want to be.
It's not gonna sell.
Yeah, exactly.
I always thought that like the best superpower would just be to read people's minds, because I guess a better one would be to like change people's minds, like be able to persuade them to do certain things. But I still think like if I was to have a superpower, I'd be like, just let me read people's minds, like their thoughts.
What if it was like the dumbest fucking superpower? Like you didn't have a choice. You get like, you know, the ability to turn anything into a fucking feather or something.
I actually just like proposed this idea to my friend. He makes like some films and stuff, and I was picturing like Napoleon Dynamite type movie, like middle of nowhere where the town is kind of like 10 years behind, you know, and it's kind of dorky. There's this high school kid, and he like, the thing is that he has this superpower where he does magic, and he does this one magic trick where he just makes like a tennis ball appear like in your house anywhere or something like that, you know, and that's the only magic trick he can do. And half the people are like, whoa, that's cool, like, you know, how'd you do that? And he's like, no, I'm not gonna tell you. And then the other half are like, dude, how the fuck did you do that? They like start thinking it's real, and they like start breaking into his house, like trying to really figure out how the fuck this high school kid keeps making tennis balls appear. And kind of you would like never, I can't decide if you like never find out how he does it, or if it's actually magic, or if it's like you do find out how he does it and he's just like setting them there or something. But the thing is, like, the idea was to just drive this town crazy just by making tennis balls appear. Like something. And obviously it'd have to be done well, but
yeah, I mean, he's probably got real magic, or he's very elaborate.
Yeah, like just sneaks around, or like good at hiding. I don't know, but yeah,
he never sleeps, and he puts makeup on his dark circles so nobody ever knows.
But yeah, having the worst superpower, what would that be?
I don't know. Like, I mean, I don't know the worst, but like a useless one. You know, you turn yourself into like,
your farts don't smell.
That's pretty good though. I mean,
but it's not that they aren't loud anymore. They just don't smell.
Oh, well,
like,
I think everyone should have that one. I think the world would be a better place
if your farts didn't smell.
Yeah, you just fart at free will, and it's funny, you know.
Yeah, because then it's just a noise. It doesn't gross people out.
Yeah, I mean, maybe the smell is kind of what makes farts funny too. Like
that's like a afterthought though. Like when your friend farts and it's unexpected, it's kind of funny, and then like,
and then you deal with the smell,
and then it's like everybody's like, "Oh fuck," and then that's kind of funny. No, that's only funny for the person that farted. Yeah. Oh my god.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I think farts are just good, man. Have you ever seen? Fuck, I forget the name of the movie.
Was it the one with Jack Black and Ben Stiller where they make the poop disappear?
No, that's Envy. I remember that movie. That's a good one.
I like that one, yeah.
It's a different one with Paul.
Where does the poop go?
Paul Dano and what's the guy from Harry Potter?
Which guy? The main guy?
The main Harry Potter.
Fucking Daniel Radcliffe?
Yeah, Daniel Radcliffe.
Is that the horns
Paul
one?
Dano. No, it's like they're out. This dude is like stranded.
Oh shit! Yeah, I mean it's like
Swiss Army Man.
Yeah.
Swiss Army Man.
I saw the previews for that, and
that's a good movie.
I never saw it. Fuck, I forgot about that one.
It's a super trip movie, but essentially it's about farts and how you should not have to hide your farts from your friends.
I just liked the previews. Like it was, I had no idea what the movie was about, but it seemed like he was using his dead friend to like get back to civilization, and it just cracked me up.
It's super wacky. It's kind of like I don't want to ruin it if you're gonna watch it. But
yeah, I'll watch it. So.
It's a great movie. But yeah, farts.
I'll have to look it up because I totally forgot about it. I just remember there's one part where he's like riding his friend like a boat or something.
Yeah.
Or yeah.
It's like a jet ski.
Yeah. I don't know. It just looked ridiculous. Or is that movie Lemon out? Have you seen that one?
Oh, I don't know about that one.
You haven't seen the previews?
No.
I don't know. I'll show it to you after this, just a preview for it. But it was one of those where it looked wacky, and I was like, "What the fuck is this?" But I wanted to see it. What about that? The Disaster Artist.
Oh man.
Where it's about.
Well, you know where it comes from.
Yeah, The Room.
Yeah.
Have you seen it?
Yes.
I tried watching it.
It's a horrible movie.
Yeah. I tried watching it all the way through, and I was just like, ugh,
But if you watch
so
the
much
highlights,
things to do.
it's so good.
I just watched the highlights on YouTube after that. I was like,
yeah. And it's funny.
What's the thing? What's the guy's name that he always says?
Mark?
Hey, Mark.
Oh, hi, Mark.
Oh, hi, Mark. Dude, that movie cracks me. So he wrote it, that guy.
He wrote it. He produced it.
Rizzo, what's his name?
Some weird dude. He made money like selling like jackets, like a clothing line, and then used it to make his movie. Like he sold his company, made a good amount of money, and funded his fucking weird ass film.
And it's basically just about somebody cheating on him.
Yeah.
Right? And it's funny because you got to think in this guy's mind, he like thinks it's like this, like groundbreaking, like deep, like.
He really did, dude. Like.
So now James Franco's doing the movie where he's pretending it's the making of that movie.
Yeah, it comes from the account of the co-star. I think is it Mark? The guy that plays Mark?
The blonde guy, yeah.
The blonde guy. He wrote a book about having been on set and working with the guy, you know.
And pretty much everybody else on the set is like more there, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know if there's anything wrong with the guy. Just his perception of what's good and what's not is a little bit.
Well, like in the movie, there's like
artistically, I guess,
random scenes of them just like tossing a football around because it's American, and he wanted it to play to like this American culture. It's like,
yeah, out of touch. He was just out of touch.
Completely out of touch. But
a fucking movie.
But I mean, kind of a genius, you know. Like,
yeah,
it's a total cult film, you know. It's got a cult following.
That's not irony. That's a coincidence.
Yeah.
Irony is like when you intend to do something and the opposite happens.
Yeah.
But he wanted to make money and be famous, but it's like famous for the wrong reason.
Yeah, infamous.
Yeah,
really.
infamous. Yeah. I watched Gremlins the other day for
the first one.
Yeah, the first one.
There's like 6 of them or something.
I don't know. But have you seen the first one?
Yeah.
So there's like the bar scene where the gremlins are like in the bar, and that girl who was in Fast Times at Ridgemont High. It's funny because she works at the bar, and these gremlins are like fucking up the bar. But what I love about that scene is she's still trying to like serve them drinks and stuff. Like she's been serving them. And I'm like, so these little green things walked in, and you were just like, all right, fuck it. Like, let's serve them. But I don't know. I just think it's so funny. And that scene lasts like 10 minutes just of like them partying. I love it. I was cracking up so hard.
Outlandish, man. You gotta wonder, man. Like, I mean, for sure, there's like drugs involved. I think for
80s
sure, like,
cocaine.
Yeah, a bunch of weird
an abundance
shit.
of money and cocaine.
Like,
it was like it wasn't a Steven Spielberg movie, but it said like presented by at the beginning Steven Spielberg. So I'm guessing he probably helped out with like special effects or I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that means. I don't think that's commonplace in today's films at all. Like,
yeah, because I saw it said the first name said presented by Steven Spielberg, and then it said produced by Steven Spielberg and like 2 other people, and then it said directed by somebody else that wasn't Steven Spielberg.
I think it might be his idea though, because if it's presented by, you know,
it might have been his.
Because produced, it's like
this
is the guy that put the money in.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, it's Steven Spielberg. He's got like E.T. and all that other weird shit. So.
Yeah, which I like E.T. a lot.
E.T. was cool. Yeah.
It's funny because everybody like shit talks the early episodes of like Star Wars, like 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 1, 2, and 3, and like growing up, those were the ones that came out when I was growing up, so I loved them. But then when I went back and watched them all together, I was like, oh my god, these got totally wacky.
Yeah.
They weren't like cool anymore.
But the pod racing was cool.
Yeah, I watched a video on that the other day, and he's literally saying, like, out loud, he's like, we got to figure out what to do after the pod race because that's going to be hard to top.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
And it's funny, he talks about Jar Jar Binks in that one as being, like, essential. Like if Jar Jar Binks isn't in this and we don't do it right, it's going to be ruined.
That's why so many people were so mad about it. Cause
I love Jar Jar Binks. He was fucking hilarious.
But people thought he was going to be like this, you know, badass new character.
Right.
And he's just a fucking weirdo, you know?
He's like a combination of like a satirical black guy, Goofy, like from Disney Channel, and like a fish or something. But
creature.
When I watch it now, I'm like, this kind of seems super racist. Like,
yeah, it kind of is.
I don't know.
If you look at it that way, yeah.
I don't know. It was funny to me, but I still like Jar Jar Binks. I think my brother got an inflatable Jar Jar Binks chair growing up. And we like blew it up and stuff, and we would sit in it and think we were super cool.
That sounds horrible. Like a Jar Jar Binks chair? It
was kind of creepy, but
yeah,
it was cool.
Say that.
It was cool. We liked it. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know about that guy, man. He's
Jar Jar Binks. Yeah, everybody's like, bring him back. I'm like, he doesn't need to be brought back.
He's gone. Man.
He was fine. I did like Darth Maul though.
Oh yeah,
I thought that he was
Darth
a good
Maul was
villain, but I don't know. The early ones or the later Star Wars movies were better for sure. Like if you're just gonna talk about like story that makes sense.
Well, yeah.
What about Anakin when he's like older and he's like,
oh gosh,
I like the sand, or I don't like the sand, it's coarse, and like, have you seen that scene? You know what I'm talking about?
I think I know which one you're talking about.
He's sitting there with what's her name? Is it Natalie Portman?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's sitting there and he's like, I don't like the beach. The sand is coarse and everything is hard. I like things that are soft. And then he like touches her hand, and it's just the worst acting, the worst lines. Like nobody would say that.
Yeah.
Nobody would ever fucking say that.
Who knows, man? They live in space like a long time ago.
You'd think he'd be more well-rounded.
Yeah, I don't know, dude. Like, if you're gonna hit on a girl, that's definitely not the way to do it.
Yeah.
But he's that whole scene, that like part of him being older, Anakin. He's a fucking crybaby. Like he whines about everything.
He's a little bitch in it.
He is a little bitch, dude.
Like when he gets his leg cut off.
His hand.
His hand.
And his leg, right?
Yeah. Obi-Wan Kenobi fucks him up.
Fucks him up. You should have killed him, dude. He fucked up.
Like usually being like a father figure, like you would just slap the shit out of your kid, but he fucking chopped his leg off.
I don't know, but I think he seriously fucked up. Like,
oh yeah,
if he left him alive, I guess you could assume he's gonna die. Like
he was like falling into the lava.
He's like in a volcano.
Yeah,
and he's got no arm and no leg. But like, dude, this guy can potentially be the most evil guy in the world.
Yeah, in
the galaxy. Fucking lightsabers dome piece and it's over.
Yeah, that's like people saying like, who's really at fault, Hitler or Hitler's mom?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's a super fucked up thing because that actually happened.
Right.
Although we don't know for sure.
I mean, what if it was
if Star Wars did actually happen? We don't know.
We don't know.
No,
it's
but
a long time ago.
Yeah, it's like you can stop this evil thing from happening, and you didn't, and you'd have to assume Hitler was a dick growing up. I don't know.
Yeah, it's
maybe his mom was even bigger, like a bigger dick.
Yeah, I mean, where did that mentality come from? Right?
Entitlement, for sure. Like,
he was a single child.
Was he?
I don't know.
Seems like it. Fucking dick.
Yeah.
Anyway, we went from Star Wars to Hitler.
Right.
But that was my doing.
Tangents, man.
I like bringing Hitler into the conversation every once in a while to see how people react.
I mean, I'm all game. Hitler was a dick, dude.
Hitler was a dick. We finally settled it.
Yeah.
Hitler was a dick. That's it.
Nobody
needs to talk about him anymore. We handled it right here. Hitler was a dick.
Yeah. Done deal.
Oh, man.
But yeah, going back to the film stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, we're actually doing something tomorrow.
You're filming?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, and you got this nice-ass fucking camera.
Oh, yeah, that was recent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You brought over this huge like case.
Yeah, like
where there was more
huge-
padding than actual equipment.
Yeah.
That's how important the equipment is.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're still like small fries, but the goal is to be our own production company to make a big film. And yeah, we definitely are nowhere near that right
Who's
now.
we?
So we is Marshal Club.
We is.
Yeah.
Marshal Club.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, I'm not Marshal Club. Like, I don't consider myself like part of their mentality.
Should I know this? What Marshal Club is? Is this a big thing?
It's not a big thing, but I guess we're growing.
Okay.
Like we just
But people would know Marshal Club if you said it, like people that are in your circle.
in the right circles, like a lot of the tricking community, which is like martial arts acrobatics type of thing. A lot of the people in those know, but
Got it.
we do martial arts based films, and a lot of them involve, like if you've watched any of the Jackie Chan films from like the 90s and 80s, like that's kind of what we are trying to recreate, but in our own way.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of acrobatics, there's a lot of stunts, flips, crazy kicks, and like real, or what looks like real fighting,
Right.
Because
Using real people, objects, things like that. Not so much CGI.
like actual contact, and we
Yeah.
do it with like training. Because even in big films, like, oh man, I always bring it up and I feel like a dick, and I'm sure like if I ever met the director of the films, like
What, you're gonna trash talk?
the Bourne Identities,
Yeah.
like the Bourne Supremacy.
I've never seen one of those.
Okay, supposedly crazy action movie.
Right.
Matt Damon, I got nothing against him. I actually really like Matt Damon. But the fighting, like, if you're gonna make an action movie and there's combat, I want to see what the hell's going on.
Right.
In that whole series, like every action scene, they get like the intense camera where it's like all crazy,
Right.
And then maybe you catch a fist or like a fucking thumbnail going across the scene, and it's
Right.
like, oh, that was a punch. Like, oh, they're fighting.
Right. But it's all like obscured by the
reason-
camera movement.
The reason they do it is like, okay, you're adding this like level of intensity because the camera movement's like you're in the zone, but really it's because they don't know how to fight. They don't know fight choreography for film.
Yeah.
So to simplify things, they make it all crazy so you can't see a damn thing, and I really hate that. Like,
Yeah, it's like I don't know much that I can bring up about fight scenes, but did you ever see Place Beyond the Pines?
no.
Okay, well, in action stuff, usually they make stuff like, well, Drive did it too, and these are both Ryan Gosling movies, but so in Drive, there's this part where he's trying to get away, like right at the beginning, and they take out all the music, they don't do like shaky cameras or anything, and you're just watching Ryan Gosling like shift the car, and you're listening to the sound of the engine, and you're just listening, like, and there's like a minute of just that while he's trying to get away, and it's way more intense because it's like you're actually there, and you're like focusing in on like the sound of the engine, and like you're like kind of like super suspense. And they do that in A Place Beyond the Pines. He like robs a bank, and he's riding his motorcycle away, and you just hear the cars going by and the motorcycle, and you're just like, fuck, there's no music, no nothing, and they're focusing right on it. So they're like really into it, and they're like focusing on what the action is. But yeah, I could see like if you actually study martial arts and stuff, and then you like they're not showing what's going on, you're like, why am I watching this? You're like, I hear punches, I hear boards being broken, or like a scuffle, but you can't see it.
I think it's a cheap way to make an action scene. Like if you've got cars and all that stuff, like, yeah, I get it. It's a dangerous thing, and to make things look real, like it's gonna cost a lot of money, a lot of time. But for fight scenes, it's like put a little time into it, and I think change your perspective. I guess it works for something, but I feel like it's very Americanized, and I don't like it.
All right, we gotta take a break, but I'm gonna ask you more questions about that subject.
All right, cool.
Right after this. All right, we're back. So, about all the fight scenes and all that stuff. So, the way that it's done, was it kind of like pioneered by people like Bruce Lee and stuff like that? Or how did they start incorporating it into like films? And then what was like the standard for it, like being done well? You know what I mean? Because I feel like they've had fighting in movies since like John Wayne. You know, those fight scenes are fucking horrible.
They're so bad.
2 punches, like awkward punches.
You ever watch any of the old 007 movies? Like, come on, man.
Not really, actually.
Oh gosh, dude.
No.
Like,
just play the games.
You know, the boss man, whatever, you know, he's fighting the main enemy of that film. And it's like the old West movies. It's just fucking horrible.
Yeah.
And that was the cool shit.
Bad acting.
Yeah. Like,
basically.
Horrible. It was like, obviously watching two people, you know, trying to make a fight scene, but not fighting. So it's pretty bad. But I mean, it's definitely come a long way. And the introduction of Bruce Lee kind of is iconic because martial arts was not allowed to be taught.
Right. People were getting pissed at him.
Westerners. Yeah. Yeah. And there was a big whole ordeal about that. But him bringing that and him as like the iconic film figure, I think, was definitely the pioneer. And actually, Jackie was one of the stunt men on some of his films. And he just kept pursuing it. He did a lot of stage performance, and that's why his style was so different, because they would do like these elaborate fight scenes live.
Right.
So they don't have time to reset camera, cut
everything
change
out.
things up. Yeah.
They have to keep it interesting the whole time.
Yeah, you play out this whole scene of like a combat scene.
Jackie Chan to me is probably the best, or that I remember, or that I ever noticed, at utilizing like the
environment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the classic, even just, kick walk up the, I don't know what you call that. But then even like in Rush Hour, like, which is supposed to be like, it is a comedy, but they just used so many objects, which is fun, And you think about it in a fight, like if you're actually fighting to the death, if these bad dudes are like really trying to kill you, you see something next to you that you can use in a fight, you're probably going to pick it up and use it.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. It was fun. But I think he's the best at that. Or if there's somebody better, I haven't noticed it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, there's a couple of guys that have come really close, but in different contexts. Like Jackie, he didn't like the violence thing. He didn't want to kill anybody. He didn't want to It was very much like, I'm a human being and you're in my way for whatever purpose, and I'm going to try to stop you, but I don't want to kill you.
It's defense.
Exactly. But, a couple other guys have taken a different approach with a similar level of skill. Like Tony Jaa, I don't know if you've ever heard of him, but he's a Thai actor. And he made like just the most insane, like, oh man, if you watch, like, they call it The Protector. It was actually so good that they made an American cut of the movie and put it in theaters for a while. But there's like Ong Bak.
I feel like I've heard of it. Totally heard of it somewhere.
It's like balls out, insane Muay Thai like destruction of everybody that's in his way, But there's a couple of guys that have really kind of stepped up that level, because Jackie's like, it's sad to say, but he's getting old, And he did.
He has to be 50 or 60 now.
Yeah, he's up there, but he just can't do the stuff that he used to do. Yeah. And he took quite a beating during his youth. Almost died a couple times.
Oh, yeah, totally. Because I remember watching outtakes of stuff on sets where it was like, ooh, shit, that was not the way that was supposed to go. Yeah. He's like falling and you're like, he's going to fall on his neck. Yeah. And he just falls up, or just like barely gets out of it. And he's like laughing, but he's like clearly hurt.
He broke like so many things and like got electrocuted.
He got electrocuted?
Yeah, it's he was like in this crazy tall mall, and he jumps onto this pole that's like got a bunch of lights on it. Slides down it.
Like a real lit up,
like a bunch of like Christmas lights going to this pole. It's like a centerpiece in a mall.
Yeah.
Super crazy. He did like the craziest shit, Armor of God. He almost like fucking died from like a concussion because he fell off of a tree that was supposed to like swing from one wall to another. Just like the branch snapped and he fell and hit his head on a rock, and like he's just done like the craziest stuff. And the thing is, he always did it himself. Like, he didn't have a stuntman. He didn't want that. He wanted to show like that it's him doing all these crazy things. And that's kind of what we're trying to do, you know? I mean,
So what's the name of the group again?
Marshal Club.
Marshal Club.
Yeah.
Okay, so you guys, you're trying to film, or not, you're trying to get together like you're a service, basically. So like a director or somebody would hire you guys to like do something, or would you guys look for the projects yourself?
Not necessarily that. I think we're trying to make our own films. That as like, you know, we are a stunt like production team is kind of an idea that we're playing around with right now.
But you want to make it more yourself, have it based around what you do.
Yeah, and the challenge is it's really hard to do that here because you have all these insurance policies, you have all these rules and regulations, and it gets really difficult to do that sort of stuff. I mean, recently, like, what's it called? Tom Cruise, like, broke his ankle or something.
Aww.
Yeah, right? No, I actually like Tom Cruise.
No, I don't mind him. It's just, that's funny to me.
But, you know, he also wants to do all his own stunts, and I respect him for that. But he was...
Does he?
Yeah. And he was doing a stunt for Mission Impossible, like 6 or whatever.
That doesn't seem... That's so funny to me. Like, when I picture Tom Cruise, I don't imagine him doing his own stunts.
No, he totally does, man.
That's funny.
Whenever possible. I mean, there's a couple where they're like, okay, we can't let you do that.
You will die.
Yeah. But, he was, like, jumping some gap. You know, obviously, he's in a vest with wires in case he doesn't make it. Sorry.
Yeah. It's okay.
Nailed it, dude.
Oh, when I have people on here and we've been going through cases of beer, it gets a lot worse than
a little tap?
Yeah.
Anyways, long story short, he doesn't make the jump and he broke his ankle, and then they had to delay for 6 months. And that's why they don't do it, is because, if your main star gets hurt, then you're fucked.
I heard the story about Bruce Willis when he was doing Die Hard, where like the first scene that he did was the scene where he jumps off the building, the exploding building, because they were like, was that Christopher Nolan? Did he direct that?
I think it was.
Yeah, and they were saying like, well, if he dies, you know, we can just get a new guy. But they had him do it, and you know, he made it obviously, but I remember, he was talking about it like he didn't think about it at the time. He didn't really like understand why they were doing that scene first. But then when he like got there and they told him what he had to do, and he like actually saw the scope of it, he was like, oh yeah, it's because I might die.
Oh gosh, yeah.
But he made it. I don't know.
It's a cool scene.
Yeah. I like Die Hard 1, and you know what's funny? I like action movies, but I don't, and I don't know why. And maybe it's because I like movies that are real.
Yeah.
Like that, where the actors make me believe that the thing's actually happening, or I know that sounds silly, and that's the way it should be, but I like super raw emotion, acting that seems like it is actually affecting them, like on a physical level. And I think when I see action movies, most of them are bad.
That's true.
So do you guys want to make like more realistic stuff, or do you guys want to do just not that there's anything wrong with that, but is your intent more choreographed, or is it more what a real fight would be like?
Most of it's choreographed, and that's because like the core of the group is like the philosophy is to spread, you know, martial arts. You know.
But you'd be doing real martial arts moves.
Yeah,
so you'd be thinking about it tactically.
Exactly. A lot of them are based with real martial arts moves. And, you know, a lot of people argue, martial arts is not practical. Like, that's why if you put a martial artist in a ring with an MMA fighter, the MMA fighter's going to win.
But MMA fighters study martial arts most of the time.
It's mixed, you know?
Yeah.
And yes and no. I mean, they don't do, like, traditional forms, and they don't do, like...
Right.
And I get it. A lot of the forms are just for presentation, and they are... like presenting certain moves, certain, you know, skills of that method of combat.
Well, most martial arts that, like, when I think of classic martial arts, the majority of what they teach you is defensive moves, or like to get out of shit. Then like, I think that's probably just the stuff that I know, because that's the beginner stuff they teach you, probably.
And typically, yeah, you know, it's intended to be like, how often are you going to go out and fight people? Like, you're not training to be a fighter.
Right, yeah.
You're training to, like, defend yourself in case something happens. But,
yeah,
you know, I think when it really comes down to it, it's like, it's just, how does this serve you?
What do you mean?
You know, like, is this a tool that you can use that is valuable to you? And, you know, it might be something you never use, and that might be perfect, because do you really want to be in a position where you might die? Like,
no.
But if you
That's
are,
my answer.
yeah, but if you are, you'll know what to do, and you can at least try instead of panic. And
when did you start doing actual martial arts or studying it?
well, the funny thing is, I don't consider myself a martial artist, even though I practice with the crew. I don't consider myself.
Well, when did you start practicing it?
Maybe this year.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Fairly recent. I think I took like a free class of karate when I was a kid.
Me too. I did it for like 2 years.
Got tossed around by like some much bigger dude.
Yeah.
It's like, what is this teaching me?
Yeah, I didn't like it so much. It was more of just to do something, like get your energy out.
Yeah.
Did you get in any fights growing up?
No, actually.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, well,
good at avoiding shit.
My brother, you know, me and my brother for sure. But besides that, I was never like combative.
Well, I wasn't combative either, but I got in a lot of fights like growing up.
Yeah. I
had kind of a temper like in elementary school and junior high, but around junior high, it was more people attacking me.
Oh, yeah.
It was always that the girl they liked me.
Oh, gosh.
And, you know, you
just can't help yourself, man.
No, but in junior high, like, everybody likes everybody because you're all, like, all hormones weird, and shit.
Yeah, new feelings and shit.
We're always going to piss off somebody, and I was a skater, and I had, like, long hair, and I, like, acted too cool. And so, like, dudes would try to fight me all the fucking time over girls. And I was like, it's that cliche thing where they're like, oh, you know, meet me by the flagpole or meet me at the park or whatever. Yeah. And you're like, nah, like, I'm just not going to go. Like, why would I
go?
Yeah, exactly. So I would, like, try to avoid it, but they always try to, like, find you after school or something. And then sometimes they would, so then there'd be fights. But it's funny that you never got in fights.
I'm pretty mellow.
Well, I mean, I try to be, or I haven't gotten into fights since sophomore year of high school. And I never liked them.
Nah.
But it was more like, I felt like every time I did get in a fight, I learned how to fight better. And I think it's just because it's like, it's not muscle memory, but like when I think about martial arts, I'm like, I bet these dudes that have studied martial arts definitely know like more of what to do next in certain situations than I did, you know?
Well, if you make it practical applications, then yeah, even training puts you, well, depending on who and how you train with, it's like, you know, either they're going to make you go through these different scenarios where you're kind of being tested in a way that's like some crazy scenario that you would actually have to use what you've learned. Whereas, you might just be practicing forms all day, and then when some shit happens, like, what do you do? Like, what are you supposed to do?
Right.
Like, I have a friend. She's a Krav Maga instructor. It's like the martial arts for Israeli special forces.
Yeah.
That stuff's hardcore, dude. It's pretty hardcore, and it's completely geared towards like practical application. Like, you want to destroy your opponent as quickly as possible because you don't know who else is coming, if they're with friends, if they have weapons.
Right.
I totally get it, and there's different forms, but like Chinese martial arts is entirely different.
How is it different?
I think it's different because it's just not what we were ever taught, like growing up. Like, we're in fucking Wild West. You just get a gun and you shoot someone.
Right.
So it's like over there, that's not so easily available. And it's not just like a physical thing for self-defense or for combat. It's kind of like for your own enlightenment, you know? It's kind of like, it's like yoga here, you know?
Yeah.
But it's been around forever.
It's
hundreds and hundreds of years.
Part of it is like just being in tune with your body.
Yeah, exactly. It's internal effect of martial art.
Yeah, there was always this thing where like the martial arts master or whatever was always like really quiet, like just
very wise.
Yeah, very wise, but would whoop your ass.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember one time in high school I was walking across the field and there was this girl in I don't know what you call the whole get up, but like that you wear for karate and stuff. That whole
gi or the
a gi. Yeah. And I remember I was just being a dick and like jokingly shit talking her. Like I was just walking through the field going, whoa! Like just being a total dick, and she was just looking at me and she's like, do that again and I'll come over there.
Oh shit!
I was like, whoa! So I did it again, and I knew she wasn't gonna hurt me because I knew who she was, but I didn't ever see her practice karate, and I wasn't like friends with her. I just like knew her from classes and stuff.
Yeah.
And she was like a grade above me, and she just grabbed my arm and flipped the shit out of me. And it didn't like knock the wind out of me or anything, but I was totally on my back, and I just started laughing so hard. I was like, that was crazy. But like, she would have whipped my ass. She totally would have whipped my ass.
That's cool though, man. She totally fucking held her own.
I mean, I wasn't really fighting back, but like, you know, she grabbed me and did it all like in a second.
You.
Yeah, she manhandled me.
That's awesome.
I thought it was fucking hilarious, but it was at that point where it's like, my grandpa loves martial arts and he always talks about like leverage.
Yeah.
And he, in that moment, she just knew exactly where to push my body in a way that just, I was on the ground in a second. I was like, what?
Yeah.
Like, cause I'd been in fights with big dudes before, and my whole thing is just like, well, you can't stop fighting because then they might really hurt you. Yeah. So you just keep going, like out of adrenaline. But these dudes don't know how like to control the human body or do anything. They're just swinging randomly.
Yeah.
And then this chick just like, I was on my back and I was like, oh my god, wow. It was impressive.
But that's the cool thing too. And you were talking about like kind of seeing the real experience in movies, you know, like trying to get that real, I guess, I mean, there is that, what's it called? The fucking suspense of disbelief.
Yeah.
When you're watching a movie.
Mm-hmm.
And you kind of accept a couple of things that are just obviously never going to happen. It's like, okay, this is real in this world.
Yeah.
But like, there was a movie called Haywire. And it's an action film, typical spy movie. I don't remember the storyline being great at all.
Mm-hmm.
But like getting back to the whole fighting thing is like they used Gina Carano, who was an MMA fighter. She was like the champion in the women's league or whatever for a good while. And they used her as like the main actress, whatever. The main star.
Mm-hmm.
And she's totally kicking ass. And because she's a fighter, she's used to getting hit. So when they did the choreography and the actual like fight scenes, there's some real contact. You know, you're not gonna want to punch.
Not full power punching.
Yeah, but like, you know, getting
following
hit,
through
kicks,
sometimes. Yeah.
And that's kind of what we do. Like,
I like that stuff a lot more.
And we try to do that as much as possible. Like we've taken a couple of kicks to the face. There's actually, I guess it's not really combat, but it was a stunt. And like we're trying to emulate like real stuff, you know.
Mm-hmm.
The scene at the like near the end of our last like short film, it's pretty cheesy. It's kind of like comedic, and we're working on like getting better storylines, but we just wanted to like start expanding on that. But anyways, there's a scene where Andy gets kicked as he's trying to evade a couple of guys from this tabletop, and we're like in a restaurant, and he gets like his feet taken out from under him as he's running, so he flips off the table and smashes into another one. You know, when we did it, he actually stood at the end of the table, ran and like did a front flip and just crashed into this table. Yeah. He did it once, and it was just the craziest thing I had seen in person.
Because it was so perfect, or
it was just crazy. You know, you're looking at this guy like front flip onto a table that breaks. Like I built these tables to break. Yeah. You know, just cheap kind of breakaway tables. Yeah. He does it once, and I was like, awesome, that was great. Everyone's like, that was awesome. He's like, watches the playback, and he's like, no, I gotta do it again. I'm not satisfied with it. So he goes and says, I'm gonna commit 100%. He goes, fucking face first, dude. Split his chin open.
Did you show this on your Instagram?
Yeah, there's a clip of it.
Yeah, I saw that. That's pretty gnarly.
And then he got sent to the ER and had to stitch up his chin at like 1 a.m.
He wanted to do one more?
But after he did that, we still finished like the last clip. So we did like some butterfly strips, put some like flesh tone band-aids on his chin just for like real quick, trying to get through the last bit. And then he got sent off to the ER, get stitched up.
Wow. All right, we got to end this one. But I want to do a few more minutes so we can do like a wrap up and talk more about what you're going to do in the future.
Cool, man.
So, what what do you want to do with all this stuff? Like what's your role in the Marshal Club? Or what are you going to be doing?
I haven't really thought too much about it, just the whole process of making movies is fun,
So why are you part of the club? Why do they have you in it? What do you offer them?
It's actually a funny story. We used to train over at Firestorm. It was at my friend's gym, and they were there when we like initially built it and all that, and started to get to know them. I had seen them around in like the local open gyms, which is just like gymnastics academies that let people come in and mess around.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I would always see them, and they're doing all these crazy, like insane martial arts, like acrobatics, flips, and kicks. Crazy as shit. Like, I mean, these guys are like top level athletes, and I'm nowhere near that, but I do train some of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I had seen that they make like these little short films, and I've been in love with filmmaking since I was a kid. I was like 13, and my mom told me, "Do you want a cell phone or do you want a camera?" I was like, "What the fuck do I want a cell phone for?" So I picked a camera, and I was like, before that I was using her like VHS camcorder to make little stupid movies.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been in love with making movies since forever.
Mm-hmm.
And then these guys were doing, I grew up watching Jackie Chan films because my mom loved it, so we always watched every movie.
Yeah.
And then seeing these guys, I was like, wow, these guys are doing what I've always wanted to do.
So it just seemed natural to...
Yeah, so I started talking to them, and they asked me to come and like help out on one of the sets, and then I went. I mean, it's not like a set, but
no, I know what you mean.
a little.
This isn't a studio,
right, exactly.
but
it's a studio.
Yeah.
So I go and help them, but I really didn't do anything. I was just there, and I brought my own camera to do like little B-roll shots or whatever. And then I've been learning like little basic visual effects for a while. And I was telling him like, oh, why don't you do this? Or why don't you try that? Just like offering little ideas here and there.
Mm-hmm.
And typically most people that make movies don't like the fucking comments from the peanut gallery because they already have an idea of what they're doing.
Yeah.
But they didn't do any of that stuff. So they're like, well, yeah, you can operate a camera. You know how to film. Yeah. You know how to do visual effects. So I kind of like snaked my way into their group. Yeah. And started helping them making movies. And now I'm like helping them with stunts because... I guess kind of like your dad, building shit. Yeah. My dad's a cabinet maker. I grew up making little stuff with scrap wood in the garage for like a long time, and just made yourself useful. Yeah, I can make a lot of things. I like do-it-yourself stuff. Yeah, and that might be because I'm a cheap guy. Like I don't want to go buy something. I like do-it-yourself stuff just because it's fun. Exactly, it's fun. It's fun. You learn something. You don't have to pay somebody else to make it for you. Yeah. Well, it's like the only way I can kind of relate that is like all these bands that I know now and like people I know, they could do podcasts. Mm-hmm. They have all the equipment to do it. Yeah. They just don't. Right. I just started doing it because I like podcasts and I'm probably a little bit narcissistic, so I like to hear myself say shit. Oh, okay. No, I like talking to people. Yeah. I just like talking to people. But I had all the equipment, so I just did it, and now they come on the podcast. They could be doing it, but they don't. Right. So now I know like a lot more people, and that kind of seems like you had something to offer for those dudes. So who are those dudes? Like, is it a small group of people or is it? It's a small group of people. It's 3 guys, really. It's Andy and Brian are brothers, and then there's Daniel, who is just like a friend who they met also at a like open gym a couple of years before. Mm-hmm. But I guess if we're getting to like the real question is like, I know how to do some shit that they don't know how to do, and it's valuable to them. Yeah. So that's really what kind of got me in. That's why friends are fun. Yeah. Everybody like collaborates. Exactly. And that's where I've kind of found my place among this group. And we all have like the similar ideal of making these awesome movies that are like fucking legit, that nobody's really doing. Like even in big feature films, like I was saying earlier, like nobody's really doing this stuff for whatever reason. They don't want people to get hurt. I understand that. Yeah. Or, whatever it may be. It's like
you guys are the backyard wrestling.
It's the crazy shit that everyone wants to see that nobody's doing.
Yeah.
So
do you guys have like a reel up or anything?
We got a couple of
for people to watch.
Yeah, I mean, I could probably find something for you.
Yeah, send me something, and I'll put it like in the links, or I'll put some of the video up.
Yeah.
But yeah, because like I'm hearing everything you're saying, but
I need to visualize.
I need to see it. I've seen your Instagram, and I've seen some of the stuff you do there, but that's mostly behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah, and that's just like small clips.
Yeah.
But that's the idea. It's like, honestly, I mean, I'm going to school to be a computer science major. So I'm like a programmer, but I don't think I'm a great programmer. And I would much rather prefer making movies. Like, that's the dream.
Oh, yeah.
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 So like,
I get that. I'm not going to school for anything, but out of all the talents that I have that could be put to practical use, I would much rather do something creative.
Exactly.
It feels way more rewarding.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's possible, but it's a tough world. I don't know. Maybe making films I feel like that. Is that really hard? I mean, I'm not asking if it's hard to do. Of course it's hard to do. But what's it like making actual money? Like, is it super hard to make good money?
It's pretty hard. I mean, most people who are indie filmmakers get their money from like crowdfunding, because they're not going to get some big production studio to give them a bunch of money to make a movie that's just some little indie film,
Right.
So it's really hard to kind of break that barrier of like the stuff that makes you money. And there's a funny way of making money with these indie films. It's like you sell it to like Netflix or some sort of distribution company for overseas, like places that don't have like the big Hollywood films. They buy all these like B films or indie films because that's what they like. That's what they enjoy. Or that's what's accessible to them.
Yeah.
So there's like distribution to like Indonesia, with all these B films and stuff.
I've got this friend, Arthur Garcia, who's a cinematographer, director, and he's practical about it. Like he makes his portfolio like he made a fake Coke commercial.
Yeah.
And he put that on his profile, and like it's good. It looks like it could be a real fucking Coke commercial, And then he also does like short films and stuff like that. But he was telling me, he was like, the main thing is like, it's almost like it's all networking, because eventually you work with somebody that has like a good name, and you try to make a good name for yourself. Like, you don't do shit work, and even if you're on a film that you're not passionate about, you do your best stuff.
Yeah.
And he was still saying like, but it's super hard to like make a name for yourself. Like, I don't know any cinematographers. Like, when I think of big movies, even big movies, I don't know those dudes' names.
No.
I barely know the directors.
Right.
I only know the directors of my favorite movies.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, when you look at the credits, you look at the director of photography. That's like who are the people who are calling them cinematographers. Like that's that guy. It's the DP, the director of photography. And it's basically, I'm the guy that decides what looks good.
Right.
And that's like the guy that's going to operate
how
the
shot looks.
Yeah, basically. So to get there, that's really difficult, because it's kind of like an abstract or kind of obscure position. And to show that you're good at doing that is like, how do you get there? You got to know somebody.
I think a lot of people don't think about that either. Like, that a shot was set up.
Yeah.
And it took time. But so you guys are directing, filming, editing all your stuff by yourselves?
Yeah.
Do you get help from friends, or is it?
A little bit. I mean, sometimes. There was one that they did. I wasn't able to do it. I don't remember why. I think it was out of town. But it was shot to be like an old film. Like an old Asian, whatever descent, martial arts film. Like an old Chinese film. So they made it look kind of old and shitty, like it was shot on an old camera. And then they got it dubbed by other people who were speaking like Mandarin or some form of Chinese. And they had to like hire these actors that were going to do the voice acting for these characters in the film. But it ended up being really bad. So they had to redo it themselves. So it's like, a lot of the times you have like 10, 15 different roles, because you just don't have anybody else to do it. And you get good at doing a lot of different things.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of the there's a lot of good things to that, but there's also a lot of drawbacks.
Yeah.
You're limited to what you can do to a certain level of like, this is good quality. This is the standard of like good filmmaking.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that's probably why I enjoy the DIY scene too, because like I can do my best and somebody will see it and see something special in it that's not in like a feature film.
Yeah.
But obviously I'm missing some of the things that are like in feature films or like really good films,
Yeah.
you know? But there's this music video that I did with Tess for one of my songs, Fight Back.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like the only thing that I ever wrote like a script for, like what was going to happen, what each scene was going to be. And I fucking love it. I love watching that mostly because it was like fun and creative the whole time through it. But like when I look at it, I think that like other people could look at it and be like at least interested.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what the DIY scene is kind of like why it's nice, because I don't have to have the nicest camera. I don't have to like, I prefer it to be good acting, of course. I don't like cheesy things, but they give you room in DIY. They like, oh, you did this yourself, and then it like bumps it up a few points.
Yeah.
You know, but if you see like Christopher Nolan make a bad movie, you're like, the fuck?
Yeah.
You're like, but if you see me make something bad, you're just like, that's Drew.
Yeah. But that was a pretty good part right here. You know, you can kind of like take it out of context and like these were really good components.
Yeah.
But I think
editing is so important too.
Yeah.
You can edit things to make it look super weird.
Like there's several parts to the entire filmmaking process that's like you can make so many mistakes, or not even mistakes, just do things in a manner that comes out looking kind of like shit, you know?
Or it can just come out differently than you thought it would.
Yeah.
And then you're like the whole project ends up being something different than you thought it would be, and it's still good. You like it, but you're just like, it's so different than what you had in your head.
Yeah. And I've worked with like other people on different projects, just freelance stuff, and I'm not doing what I would choose to do. Mm-hmm. Like honestly, some of it I fucking.
So you've done freelance filming?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay.
And often it turns out to be shit, or just like
I don't like doing other people's dreams.
Exactly. I mean, maybe not necessarily that.
I know. I'm just being overdramatic.
I mean, maybe overdramatic, but there's a little realism to it.
I like control. I like to do the projects I want to do and make it happen the way I want it to happen.
Or just listening to somebody that is clearly not that experienced and working on a project with them, and you're just like,
okay.
Like I'm trying to offer you some insight, and you're saying okay, but then you see the end result, and it's like, what is this garbage, dude?
Yeah.
I mean, this sounds harsh, but like the reality is like, maybe you just, I understand, like, if you're young or you're new, then you need more experience and all that. But damn, dude, some people are just,
they don't get it.
They just don't have the eye, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then why are they in it? What are they trying to do? They want to be good at it? You think that's the thing?
I think there's
or are they delusional, like they think they're good?
I think there's a problem with imitation. Like, they idolize certain people. Like, you know, I'm not going to say any names, but, you know, this dude is like, oh, this guy, the way he films, I want to make my stuff look like he makes it look like. But that right there, I think, is the main problem. Is like, no, like, yeah, you can take ideas and concepts, but if you're trying to like imitate instead of make it your own, like, yeah, this is really cool, I like that, but I want to do this to change it up and make it the way I feel it would be.
It's like you should be inspired by stuff, but you should never try to copy.
Exactly.
You know? Which is why I think I hate most pop music, because it's like I've heard it all before, you know?
Yeah.
Most of it. But like there's this music video I want to do with this she's a freelance model now. I think she's working on other stuff, but I had her on the podcast, Isabella Fortin, and I wrote this music video like with her in mind. Like before I even asked her to do it, I was like, I hope she fucking does it, because this is who I'm picturing doing it. And I think we're getting closer to like actually doing it, but I was totally inspired by Moonrise Kingdom, Wes Anderson.
Okay.
And just that kind of like childlike fantasy thing that's done with like real emotions, you know, and kind of that style. But I'm inspired by that, but I wanted to make it like put my own dark psychedelic creepiness into it too, not like just have it be like, oh, he's trying to, you know, rip off Wes Anderson, because I hate that. I hate when I see something I'm like, what the fuck, that's just, they're trying to be, you know, blah blah blah. You know, if you're not doing something different, why are you doing it? That's how I feel. I mean, if you're doing it to make money, I get it. Some things sell. So you kind of got to follow a formula. But if you're doing it for art's sake, you've got to experiment a little bit. Every time. Do something different. But I don't know.
But I get that too, and I understand. Like, okay, you can copy somebody to learn things. Like, copying is a great way to learn things.
Because you accidentally start doing it a different way. But
you got to put your own twist on it. And I think that's one of the big issues with like Hollywood filmmaking is like they all have this kind of cookie cutter layout. It's like, oh, we're making a new movie. Like, here's a template. Here's a template. You know, it's not.
So how do you do that with martial arts? How do you experiment but still?
We're still figuring that out.
Oh, okay.
Like actually, this recent one. Honestly, I think it's really cheesy, but intentionally cheesy. Like,
yeah, I like that. As long as you're not like accidentally cheesy. Accidentally cheesy is the worst.
Because the whole thing is
when you're trying to be serious and it's like cheesy.
So it's like it's like 18-minute short film that we made. And the whole thing was like, we've done a lot of really cool fight scenes. But they have no context. They have no like driving force as to why this is happening. Got it. So we wanted to create like some sort of story to lead to why this is happening. What's the purpose of it? And you know, we're still working on that stuff. But
I don't know.
Yeah, I think
you figured it out.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
because you're gonna keep trying it.
Exactly. I mean, we wouldn't have, as a group, invested in like this crazy expensive camera to like keep exploring and keep experimenting and creating. It's just like we're committed to becoming better with each iteration of our short films.
So you're filming tomorrow?
Yeah.
For something like this?
It's kind of like an ad-lib thing because it's a new camera. We're trying to figure out the camera because they're more professional, more complex. Yeah. But you
can really not fuck it up, but you've just got so many more parts to the camera.
Yeah,
like
weird settings.
I don't even fuck with like ISOs on like regular cameras. Like I have.
What even is that?
I have 2 film cameras that my grandparents got me, and I don't fuck with them. I get whatever film and I just start taking pictures, and I like it because it comes out way different than I think it will. Yeah. But that's fun for me. Okay, so we're almost done here. So tell us how people can. Or do you even want people contacting you or like getting into your stuff or hitting up your Instagram, all that?
Yeah, sure, man. I mean, I'm not like super popular or anything.
Neither am I.
It's perfect.
We're not junk Tramp over here.
Yeah, right.
That's so weird to me. But I mean, in a good way. Yeah. I'm happy for my dad, but also jealous.
Yeah, really,
anyway,
it really took off, man.
No, it did. So yeah, people should hit you up on your Instagram. You're a super nice dude, easy to talk to. And where are you doing these projects? Where are you hanging out at?
The local places.
Local places.
Because, we can't afford to, rent out a restaurant or whatever. We'll film in a garage or a local alleyway or a plaza, wherever we can get away with it.
But Orange County.
Yeah, Orange County.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. So we're at a Marshal Club on YouTube, if you look us up.
Yeah, give me all the links.
Yeah, I'll give you all
Send me all that stuff, and I'll put it in the description
below.
Oh, and real quick, I'll probably do a little short thing once I cut this off. But yeah, this was done by an artist friend of mine, and I'm not saying her name because I'm gonna look up her information and say her artist name the way she wants it said. I don't know how to address her, so I'll do a little short thing after this. But yeah, thanks for the Psychic Wave original art. It's fucking badass.
Super cool. Yeah.
And thanks, Julio, for coming on. I'm sure I'll see you around.
Oh yeah, for sure. And be flipping around in here.
Yeah, we should do another time here, and I'll pick us up some beers, and we'll get into some deeper, more sloshy conversations.
Yeah, man, I got no limits, dude.
Oh, he has no limits. No limits. Oh man, I have limits.
Okay.
No, I mean were you talking about with conversation or drinking?
Well, man.
Yeah,
conversation.
I thought you were saying you could just drink and drink and drink.
Oh fuck, no, I'm I'm casual drinker.
Casual drinker. Yeah, me too. I casually drink all the time.
Conversation though.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, thanks for coming on.
Yeah, man.
We're gonna end it.
Cool.
It's
Thanks.
good times. Yeah, thanks for coming on. It's fun.